Eating healthy is great until you hit the road. And suddenly you're stuck with gas station hot dogs, airport snacks, restaurant meals drowning in mystery oil. And you might be on the road without access to a kitchen, spending hours sitting, or left with limited healthy options when trying out local foods in a new city, for example. And nobody wants to come home from vacation with extra baggage. And I don't mean souvenirs. So what do? Does one trip mean that all your hard work building habits or managing your calorie deficit goes out the window? Life happens. And sticking to routines isn't always easy, especially on vacation, but that's okay. You can travel, enjoy local food, sip that wine, and still stay on track. I'm going to Prague over the weekend with my partner Leslie and our Shiba Inu Kaiju, and I'll show you exactly how I prep to balance indulgence with discipline. I will also track and log everything, I know, boring, everything I eat, to see if my conscious choices mixed with local delicacies will affect my current body weight. Here's a quick breakdown of my strategic approach before really any trip. Step 1. Know your travel setup. How are you getting there? Car, plane, bus, train, each has its own snack hellscape. Gas stations, processed junk. Airplanes, sad peanuts, and maybe tiny meals depending on the flight length. Trains, overpriced sandwiches if you're lucky to have a restaurant car. And knowing all this helps you anticipate the food availability. We are driving from Krakow, Poland, which is a pretty long drive, but gives you the freedom to stop whenever you want. So I will prep meals just in case at the gas station restaurants are a bust, and I'll also get some healthy snacks. If you know that your travel days will be long and sedentary, you're likely to be less active than usual, which means it's better to plan fewer calories for those days. Step 2. Plan your destination eats. Where are you staying? Will you have a kitchen there, like Airbnb or friend's home, or will you rely on restaurants and hotels? Is breakfast included? Is it all-inclusive or per order? If none, are there cafes nearby with more or less balanced options? Having some control, like making your own breakfast in a kitchen, helps balance indulging in potentially heavier local cuisine later. I plan for one rich local meal per day. And we also likely will have some local beer. I've been to Prague before, so I know that local food is pretty heavy, but I still want it. Which means I need to be mindful of my breakfast and snacks, probably lunch as well, to be able to allow a big eat out. Step 3. Guesstimate your activity. Will it be a sit-heavy work trip, an active, hiking vacation, or lazy beach days? Try to match your expected calorie intake to your movement. More activity might allow for more treats. Less movement means being more mindful, especially on your travel days when you sit a lot. We will be sitting in a car for 5 hours on departure and also on arrival days. So it's important to take frequent stops to stretch and also hit my minimum 10,000 steps per day before we hit the road, and also maybe after we arrive. I also packed my travel yoga mat in case I won't have the chance to move much. But at least if I will have some time free in between the activities, I can hit my HIIT workout or practice some yoga. We're going to Prague to see our friends, so everything is open to improvisation. But I want to be ready for multiple scenarios to reach my daily eating and movement goals. Step 4. Prep smart backups. Based on the first 3 steps, Pack strategic snacks and maybe an actual meal. Think fruit, vegetable, crunchy sticks, yogurts, maybe even a homemade sandwich or high protein bake. Having healthy options prevents grabbing unhealthy choices out of desperation. I have a couple of protein bars in my purse at all times in case, plans change or eating time is shifted. And now, currently, I'm 53.3 kilograms, eat 2,000 calories a day, and aim for minimum of 115 grams of protein daily. I intend to meet those goals on this Prague adventure, especially the protein one. That's very important. And hopefully come back without extra weight. Let's see if I can do that. We've done this drive before, so I know some gas stations have proper restaurants, but I'm not counting on it. First stop, the supermarket for some travel-friendly goodies. Skyr yogurts are fantastic. High protein, low calorie, perfect for the car. Just, need a spoon. I've never heard of this brand before, and I discovered this only now since we moved to Poland from Ukraine. But I think it's an amazing deal for those who are careful with calories but need to up that protein intake. High protein cottage cheese is another winner. This one has 190 calories and a whopping 30 grams of protein in this tiny thing. Veggies and fruits are great for, crunchy, low-calorie snacks. I usually grab pre-cut carrots or sliced cucumbers, bell peppers, plus apples or maybe pears. I wanted to get some for this trip as well, but Carrefour's produce section looked like a zombie apocalypse, so no luck. Blueberries are always a good dessert option. Protein bars are non-negotiable for my bag. Some are basically candy bars though, so I always check the proportions of calories to grams of protein per bar. Wanted to find a beef jerky too, but no luck, weirdly. Back home, I made a high-protein zapikanka, a Ukrainian cottage cheese mini pie, and I love mine with blueberries. It travels well, even in warmer weather. It survived a 5-day Europe road trip last summer, so weekend in Prague, easy. Then the sandwiches. What can be more satisfying than a fresh baguette? I put just a tiny bit of butter, 5 grams, 40 grams of sliced baked turkey, a bit of ketchup, 30 grams of tomatoes, 20 grams of Gouda cheese, 15 grams of boiled turkey, because why not, and some rucola. I weighed everything to track accurately for the integrity of this experiment. So let's see what ended up in my go-to prep bag. Sandwiches, high-protein yogurt, apples, baby carrots, 3 slices of zapikanka, and protein bars. Ready to roll. Departure day. We started with a hearty, high-protein breakfast. Shakshuka with feta and eggs. But first I served a rucola salad. Fiber helps with satiety, crucial for a long drive. Time to hit the road. 5 hours to Prague. Let's go. First up, let's see what they have here. Shop, snacks, fast food. They do have a restaurant. Look at all those meals we could have eaten here. But our homemade sandwiches win. Plus it saves some money. As usual, topped up our lunch with a cappuccino and grabbed my apples for a little sweetness. Another stop to stretch, get a boost with more coffee. Probably could have held off on that much coffee. But on driving days, this is our guilty pleasure. Not that those are particularly tasty at gas stations either. Oh, and looky, this station has plenty of protein bars and beef jerkies. And back on the road. Don't forget to hydrate. It's easy to fill yourself up with coffee or energy drinks while driving and forget about just pure water. And yes, bathroom breaks are now a hobby. This gas station only has sandwiches and hot dogs. Good thing we're not hungry. Well, maybe just a little snack. Car boredom is real, people. We haven't arrived yet, but the bottle is already finished. Good stuff. Frequent stops are important to stand up regularly, stretch, walk the furry baby. In reality, probably just an excuse for people with tiny bladders. We're now entering the city, and soon we'll arrive to our Airbnb. This time we're staying in a western part of Prague in a residential area. Very calm and suburban, full of beautiful villas. Not really a walking distance to the old town, but we are planning to spend most of the time in nature with our friends tomorrow. And finally we arrived. Actually, our room is inside a monastery. Well, okay, it's a historical homestead with a rich history dating back to the 17th century. The homestead has served various purposes over the years and is now actually a protected cultural monument. And it's a cute little room with a bed upstairs. Do you like it, Kaiju? Okay, it's late. Dropped the bags and headed out to meet friends for dinner. It was about an hour walk. Great after sitting for so long. It was a great night, which I enjoyed immensely, and totally forgot that I was supposed to be a blogger. So there is no proof of what I've eaten. You're just gonna have to believe me. Or this AI-generated version of my dinner. It was a couple of spoons from a shared starter, a beef tartare, wonderfully soft beef cheeks on a pillow of mashed potatoes with some sauce that I couldn't identify, but tasty, and a glass of red wine. I mean, it looks pretty damn good on this picture. And the restaurant definitely had similar vibes, this fine dining style. I picked this dish because of the decent portion of protein, much better, I think, than taking pasta or risotto. But, tracking restaurant meals is tricky. Unknown ingredients, hidden oils, sugars, and sauces. So I always add extra fat in my tracking app, like 20 grams of oil, to my estimate to be safer. Oh, and I snagged some grilled vegetables from another starter for some extra fiber. And I forgot to tell you about my dessert, which was a creme brulee with a decaf cappuccino. We walked back as well, hitting over 15,000 steps for the day. Not bad considering the drive. So day one, the totals are 2,524 calories approximately, and 106 grams of protein. I went over my daily budget with the heavier dinner, and I'm also slightly below my protein target, But at least I got the most of it in my thought through breakfast, car, lunch, plus lots of walking. So I think not a bad start. This is going to be a full day spent with friends, and we plan to start it right up from a good breakfast altogether. So, which means no eating in Airbnb, zapikanka is staying in a fridge. Since it's a quiet residential area, there are not that many options for dining. So we walked to a cafe for about 40 minutes, which is a great excuse to exhaust kaiju, and we can also get most of our steps done. There are lots of hills in this part of Prague, so we were going up and down quite a lot. This cafe is also a bakery and a shop, and it has a nice breakfast menu. My strategy for eating out: prioritize protein and fiber. A 3-egg omelette with goat cheese, avocado, and a side salad fits the bill perfectly. Starting with the fiber salad is always a good idea to curb the blood sugar spike and keep energy levels stable for the day. That's why I never go for so-called healthy breakfast with cereal and milk or granola. Too much sugar on an empty stomach guarantees a sugar crash. I actually explain how it works in detail and according to science in this video. And if you're interested in checking out what breakfast is best for your energy for the day, check out this video. And as a habit, I add 20 grams of oil, accounting for all the fat used in cooking in the restaurant. If it was less oil in reality, good. But better to overestimate than underestimate if you're aiming to stay in your calorie balance, and especially if you are in a calorie deficit. As a treat, we shared one croissant with Leslie. And good we did, because it wasn't a very tasty one. And of course, I've got a flat white. Now it's time for adventures. Our friends took us exploring local parks. La Dronka Park is huge. Great for cycling, running, skating. We did a lot of walking, interrupted by more coffee stops. Yeah, I have a coffee habit. By lunchtime, we were starving. Leslie needed one of my emergency protein bars. I held out, planning for a bigger lunch. I planned to go for a traditional Czech meal, remember? And so, in this local restaurant, I've got a roasted duck leg with red and white cabbage, potato, bread and dumplings. No, those are bread dumplings. Well, anyway, I ditched the bread. I wasn't really to my liking, and tried to go easy on the sauce. We also shared a plate of chicken wings. I've got 3. As you can see, the meal is heavy on fats and carbs, so I wanted to counterbalance it with at least some fiber, and I asked for a salad. But the waiter told us, I think it's going to be enough food for you. I was so puzzled with this assessment of our appetite that he was already gone, and I was left without fiber. So estimated 1,117 calories and 62 grams of protein. I planned for this, remember? At least one heavy meal per day. Plus, the calculations for the restaurant meals are always approximate, and I always log the maximum grams I think are on my plate. It's very likely that there was less than 100 grams of actual meat of that duck leg. That's also why my breakfast was more or less balanced. And the day is not over yet. And so we went. Of course, taking a cup of specialty coffee on the way. We explored Hviezda, a historic game reserve, and then entered Divoka Sharka, a stunning nature preserve within the city. Steep cliffs, deep valleys, rocky trails. It was absolutely breathtaking, a true escape into nature. There are lots of trails that wind through the valleys and along the cliffs, offering stunning views. We were in for a treat. At this point, I'm already at 20,000 plus steps. Feeling tired, even kaiju, we headed back towards the city for an aperitif. What better than a cold beer after all that walking? Irish beer. Even though at the last moment I betrayed Guinness for a Magners Irish cider. Refreshed, we spontaneously found a Spanish tapas bar. Everyone fancied some jamon, so in we went. We shared 2 boards of cured meats between the 3 of us and also 1 cheese board. Each also had a glass of red wine. Finished with, you guessed it, a decaf cappuccino. Damn, I really drink a lot of those. Estimated 1,003 calories, 62 grams of protein. Again, the amount of jamon and cheese eaten is very approximate. I took an average serving and also split it between the 3 of us. Anyway, Saturday totals: 3,260 calories, 158 grams of protein, and 37,000 steps. That's possibly a record for me outside of hiking in the Alps, which helps a lot with burning all those fatty foods that I've eaten. And yeah, this day was definitely very heavy on fats. At least I got my protein norms checked out. Sunday, departure day. Everyone's tired, but no more than this guy. But we need to get up and get those steps done before getting into a car for 5 hours of driving. Back to the same cafe. This time I tried eggs with ratatouille, lots of vegetables, but likely cooked in a generous amount of oil. It came with white bread. I had only 1 slice for some quick energy, but skipped the rest. There's no need for a sugar spike just to sit in a car. If you remember, this cafe has a shop inside, and Leslie spotted a beautiful box of blueberries, which we munched as a dessert. Clearly the whole family's favorite. We've got a little walk down the city to do more steps, but really it was just an excuse to try this specialty coffee. But 10,000 steps done, and we're not even in the car yet. Nice. And then there was the ride back to Krakow. Remember that zapikanka I made? With all the walking, I didn't have the chance or the need to eat it. It was waiting its time in a fridge in the Airbnb and now became our lunch stop meal. High protein from the cottage cheese, plus the sweetness and fiber from blueberries. It was a very small portion though, so I had another slice a couple of hours later as a snack. Before we made it home, we stopped at the dog park so that the little one got his playtime for being such a good boy. Always. And no need to mention, it gave us another chance to stretch. Just the usual, bathroom and coffee stops otherwise. Nothing major happened on the way back, except maybe 1 extra gas station coffee. Happy and tired, we are back home. In the safety of our own kitchen, I made us a balanced dinner and we were so done for the day. So Sunday totals, 1,688 calories, 115 grams of protein. Right on point. A bit less calories than my target, which is good. It's a compensation for overeating during the previous couple of days. And I hit my protein goal. I even brought back a yogurt and some extra protein bars. Better to have some extra than to be caught unprepared. Now, let's see what the scale will show tomorrow. And I gained exactly no extra weight during this trip. Actually down a couple of 100 grams. No wonder with all that crazy walking. So, There you have it. You absolutely can travel, enjoy local food and drinks, and stay on track with your health goals without feeling deprived or stressed. It just takes a little bit of smart planning and conscious choices along the way. Of course, if I did go bananas with the food, a couple of days of doing it wouldn't have made the fat stick to my butt. But if you go on a longer trip, these principles will make a great difference. To wrap it up, here's what made this trip successful while still being tasty and flexible. Plan ahead. Assess your travel mode, food options at your destination, and expected activity levels. This sets the stage for smart choices. Pack smart backups. Bring healthy portable snacks like beef jerky, protein bars, fruits, vegetables, yogurt, and maybe even prepare a meal for travel days to avoid gas station regret. Balanced indulgence. Enjoy those local specialties and treats, but aim for balance by planning maybe one heavier meal per day and keeping the others lighter and also macro balanced. Make mindful choices when eating out. Evaluate options on the menu and try to go for the one that offers most balanced macro proportions. Prioritize protein and fiber, salads, vegetables, anything. Be aware of hidden calories like oils, sauces, sugars. You can freely add 20 grams of oil to any restaurant meal and adjust portions if needed. You can always ask to double the protein portion in your dish or order like a side salad if it's not included. Move your body. Take a chance to walk whenever possible. Explore on foot. Walk to and from hotels, cafes, venues, anything. Take the stairs. Go on walking tours. Activities helps offset extra calories and keeps you feeling energetic. Adjust on a go. If you see that some days are more sedentary, adjust your calorie intake. On average, you can remove 25 calories for women and 35 calories for men for each 1,000 steps you didn't take from your daily norm. Hydrate wisely. Don't forget water, especially on high activity days or when consuming lots of coffee or alcohol. And be flexible and enjoy. Travel often involves spontaneity. Don't stress about perfection. Adapt to changes. Make the best choices available in the moment. And most importantly, enjoy the experience. It's all about finding that balance between enjoying your travels and respecting the hard work that you put into your health. Health isn't ruined by one trip. It's built by habits. And now, go enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you in the next video.